Okay, so now that we have a project open, well, we would like to add some components. So I'm going to help you mostly to find the components for lab 9. This is the same procedure to find any parts that you need. So for lab 9, we will need a transistor, which is the 2N34 at 3904. So we click here on the P on the devices. So I clicked first here, component mode. I click on P and I get a pick device. And I'm going to write directly into there 2N3904. I'm going to look at which ones I have. I have the Fairchild or the bipolar. I know it's a bipolar, but we have been using the Fairchild. Just to explain a little bit this window. So we have how it's going to look on the schematic. And we also have a view of how it's going to look on a PCB. But this is for next year for you guys. You'll be using PCB. But it's interesting to see what it's going to look like. And the bipolar, well, the bipolar looks exactly the same. But the programming behind it is a little bit different. So we're going to take the Fairchild for lab 9. So let's find a resistor. So for the resistor, we actually have a lot of different kinds of resistors for PCB, and we even have pots. And pot HG is one that you might like sometimes to use. It's a resistor that you can change its value during simulation also. So that's very nice. But for the basic one, the one that we're going to use is the analog primitive one. It doesn't have a PCB preview because probably this resistor was not designed to do PCB. But it's okay for now. We're not doing PCB layout, so it doesn't matter. So we click OK. They show up here in the list, and that's what we want to happen. So that's pretty much all you need for lab 9. So once you have them in the list, you can click on one as it's highlighted. You can come to the drawing board, click once with your left mouse, and you see that the resistor appears, but it's very faint and it moves with your mouse. You can zoom in a little bit with your trackball on your mouse. And what I suggest is if you already know how you want to place it, you want to use your plus or your minus sign to rotate it. So unfortunately, because my laptop has a weird keyboard on it, I can only use the minus, and the minus sign will rotate counterclockwise. Then you click with your left mouse button again, and you see that the resistor was placed. And you can do that a few more times. Since you have already rotated, it keeps the last rotation point. And you can place them where you think they will need to be. And don't worry, you can move them around if they're not in the place where you want. I'm going to zoom out a little bit with my mouse track. And I'm going to take the transistor. And as you see, I don't like how it's pointing. So I'm going to rotate. And there you go. This is the way I want to see it. Now you don't want to place it right here because you don't have any space. So see, I didn't space out my resistors well. So I'm going to just put my transistor down. And I'm going to click on the resistor, and as it goes red, I'm going to move it slightly to put it where I think I'm going to need it in order for the drawing to look nice. Once I get to here, I also need a ground. So I go to the terminal mode, and I will take a ground. And again, once it's highlighted, you can come on the drawing, click once, and it arrives kind of like in purplish pink. And click it, and then it arrives. You can go back to the selection mode, and as you bring your mouse close to the end of one of the parts that you have put on, there's a little pink square that lights up. If you click on it, you can start drawing your wire. And it kind of moves with your mouse. And if this is not where you wanted, you can click and fix it where you want to give yourself a little bit more space. So here, I'm going to connect here. I'm going to connect this one. Oh, see, I don't like the way it looks there. Oh, there you go. That looks pretty. And to connect to the middle of the wire, you can't start on the wire. You got to start on the other piece and bring it in. And you're going to get a dot when it's connected. So I'm going to continue with the other pieces. There you go. And I am missing the power. So give me a moment, I'm gonna find it. So here what we're gonna do is we're gonna find the power. There's many ways to put power on here, so I'll give you one. We're gonna use the power right above the ground. We're gonna come and place it right around here, and we're gonna connect it to our circuit. We double click on it, and we must say plus 15 volts and say okay. So we have done our circuit. And then in the next video, I'm going to show you a few things about the simulation mode.